This video we're going to learn how to change colors on the figure 8 or diamond lace stitch today on GoodKnit Kisses. Welcome to GoodKnit Kisses. We're all about helping you stitch your love and love your stitches. So I'm at the part of my pattern where I want to work the diamond lace stitch into this accent band here. It actually just works a couple of rounds and then we begin again with the main color. So I have finished my round and figured out the correct length, and I have a video if you need to know how to figure out the correct length if you just click down there. And I'm finished on the very last peg of this round. Now, as you know, in order to get this very last peg, I've already worked peg 1 and the last peg in order to get this one knit and then the yarn coming from the end. So that's where we are at this point. We're going to bring in our accent yarn or your color change, and we want to kind of work this tail just as this yarn would normally be working. So normally I'd be skipping over and going immediately to peg 2 and 1. So I'd work this direction and come back this direction. Now you can work this left or right-handed. I am working in a clockwise fashion right now. I'm not going to make 2 videos on this, but this should be sufficient to show you. So you're just going to go work around peg 2 and around peg 1 with that color. But if I'm going to join this new one, I want it to go in the same direction that this one would have been. So I'm going to start here and work it around. Now I want to pull a little bit of a tail and let it hang, because we want to weave that tail in later. So now you can just pretend that it's coming from this peg here, and you can hold it back there, that's fine. And then work around peg 2, and then come back and work around peg 1. And then I'm going to hold this tail so it gives me some tension. And now I can just knit over 1 and 2. All right, so now peg 1 and 2 have this second color, and I've got a little bit of a tension. I'm going to leave this color on here, but I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail and actually clip it. Now you can carry the yarn up the back, but there will be a little bit of a jog and you'll have more play to be able to use your tapestry needle and weave it in later if you'll go ahead and cut it. I know it's a little bit more thread to work with or yarn to work with, but it works better. So now we could just move on simply with working our stitches, and now I'm going to skip over peg 2 and go to 3, and then wrap peg 2 and knit over. Now you can see that peg 2 is getting worked twice, which is what it's supposed to do in the stitch, and now peg 3 has been worked once. Peg 3 will get worked again when I continue on in this stitch. Okay, so you notice that peg 1 has only been worked one time. It's going to get its second stitch in this stitch pattern when we come around and work our next round. So I'm going to go ahead and work rounds 1 and 2 and show you what happens at the end, where to end and then begin your next yarn color selection. All right, pause your video, work your stitches, and come back and we'll do this finish off together. See you in a moment. Okay, so I'm coming to the end of round 1. I've got this last peg I just about to knit over. Just remember, when you pull on it, you're going to have that loose strand here. So if you pull it too hard, it's going to be bigger. So go ahead and pull on that tail there. And then I'm going to work this last stitch here and the first stitch again. And so this last stitch has gotten worked twice, and now the first stitch has gotten worked twice because we worked it in the very beginning. So you're just going to continue on working one more round, or at least I am, and we'll move on, and I'll show you how to end it. See you soon. Okay, we're back, and you see, oh my goodness, I have a bonus loom. But it's because I wanted to show you that this technique is the same no matter what loom you're working on. And I want you to notice something here. It's really significantly shown in this particular loom. This is the AllnOne. You can see that I have a tail here, but my number 1 starter peg is over here. That's because this loom, or this stitch, shifts. Okay, so the 1 kind of just keeps moving around and around, even though we're not moving our number 1 stitch. So it's important that you keep the same amount of stitches that you're working for each round. And in order to do that, just make sure and count, okay, this first stitch I did 1 time around, and when it came back and I did the second round, I did it twice. And then this last time around, I only want to do it one time because this stitch is worked twice in each round. So this peg number 1 has only had it worked a total of 3 times so far, and I need it to be an even number of times. So I'm going to show you on the larger loom, but you can see that I have stopped the second peg from the end on this loom over here. I'm going to put it to the side, and you can see on this X loom that I have stopped at the same spot. So I'm the second peg from the end, and I'm going to go around the first peg, all right, just as I normally do, and then go around the last peg, and then knit over my stitches. So now I've got the last peg knit twice, and the first peg, this is the last time that this one will get knit. Okay, so we have the yarn coming from the very last peg, and this is where we will clip it, just like that. And then we're going to go back to our original yarn, same way we had done before. Just lay that extra yarn through, go around, and come back, hold your tail for tension, and then knit over. Okay, so now we are ready to continue on with the main pattern, stitch pattern, and these tails will get woven in later. It's a lot of extra tails, but it makes for a much cleaner design. It looks really nice, and if you counted all these little stitches, you see how they stand out a lot, because yeah, you have a main color here where they're hidden, but where they hit with the opposite color or contrasting color, you can really tell where they are. And if one's missing, it's noticeable. Right here is where the color changes, and it actually appears more on camera than you actually notice it in real life. See how there's kind of a bit of a jog here, but the stitch count is even. If I had continued working this round, it would make this stitch right here in gray, and it would really be apparent that it was kind of overlapping and wrong. So don't move on to making that stitch worked twice in that gray, or else it will really do that to you. Even though it's the number 1 peg and it should be lined up, it's not actually lined up. So again, let's do that again. So we've got our second to last peg. We're going to go around peg 1 and the last peg and knit that over. And then you take your yarn, and then we're just going to go around. We're going to go around the second peg and around the first peg. Hold that, knit over, and knit over, whoops, and then continue working in our main pattern color. Okay? And then just pull on that extra stitch if it's too loose, or that tail, and you're ready to continue on with your pattern. So if you're interested in seeing this stitch pattern here and you want to work the boyfriend hat, that's what this is. This pattern is the boyfriend hat. Click on the link down below to get your pattern. We've got it on the blog, and then if you want to get a PDF without the advertisements and everything into one thing, you're welcome to purchase that on Ravelry or Etsy. Thank you so much for joining me again at GoodKnit Kisses. Thanks for joining us today, where we help you stitch your love and love your stitches. See you again soon.